Hello everybody out there in YouTube land. I'm Brian. This is my first video on YouTube. I'm building an HO scale layout in my outdoor shop. The shop measures 13 feet long by 7.5 feet. I've got a bay door at one end down here. The layout will run pretty much around the room with a swing bridge at the other end down there. So the main line I've already started is 13 feet long at the 22-inch radius here, 22-inch half oval at the other end down there, and a 22-inch radius at this end over here, coming back to the half oval. This is not a prototypical layout. I am not trying to copy any realistic railroads or anything like that. This is just kind of my fantasy world. Nice mountainscapes, a town. Some time ago, I found a old scratch-built Cadillac dealership from the 50s that somebody had built a diorama, and it was really cool, but unfortunately it's seen some time and it's missing some pieces, and roofs are missing and things are broken, and I'm going to try and restore that in a video. I've got lots of stuff that we're going to build. As you can see, I got a Walther's cinder conveyor, an ash pit. I got a bunch of Walther's kits. I have this National Oil Company oil tankers that we're going to be building, because we're going to be running this 825 engine. It's an oil burner. It is an FEF-2. It's a Athearn Genesis DCC. It's kind of the locomotive that I've always wanted to run. That and a big boy, but I don't have space for radiuses for a big boy. So this is the next best thing. It's a pretty cool locomotive. I can't wait to get it on the layout. I'm super excited. I've already started running some track. I wasn't originally going to do a YouTube channel, but through some of my friends and family oohing and awing over what I've done so far, and they've kind of convinced me that I'm good enough to do a YouTube channel. So we'll see if you guys like it. If you guys can tell me if I'm doing a good job, and if you like what I'm doing and how I'm doing it. I don't do things typically how other modelers do. I've watched a lot of other modelers and how they do things, everything from crazy good people like Boomer Diorama and Jason Jensen. Those guys are amazing. To just everyday modelers like Ken's HO. That guy, I just love watching him. He's hilarious. I don't have a lot of experience in front of the camera. You might see more of the layout than you see of me. But if you like what I'm doing, and you like how I do it, I'll try to explain the reason why I do things the way I do it. I'm trying to do this as I don't want to say cheap, but as inexpensive as I can. I do have a family, and modeling is expensive, especially when you're doing DCC. HO scale stuff gets pretty pricey. If you're into HO and you're running DCC, you know exactly what I mean. The kits can get expensive. The engines are extremely expensive. Just buying track and road bed is expensive. So depending on what you're running, I'm doing mostly my track is flex track. I buy it on eBay because we live in Oregon. The area I'm at there's no hobby shops close by. The closest one to me is about an hour and 15-minute drive. So I do a lot of Amazon and eBay and things like that. But we are going to be building a Walther's roundhouse kit freestyle. That's probably going to be the first building I put on the layout, because I'm going to be putting in a roundhouse and turntable. I don't know where the turntable is going to sit until the roundhouse is in, so I'm going to be doing that kit first, and then I'll be putting in the turntable. It is a Waller's 110 foot turntable, DCC, so that'll be an experience. I am not a electrical person. I don't do a lot of electrical work, so I kind of figured, like, if I can do this, anybody can do it. So you can learn with me, you can follow along, give me tips and advice as we go. I'll try to put up videos as often as I can. As I mentioned before, I do have a family and a job, and so I probably won't as fast as I want to, but I'll try to keep them coming up as fast as I can. Again, yeah, follow along, learn with me, help me, I'll help you. If you have questions, throw them in the comments. If you have comments, about the layout, the things that I'm doing, if I'm doing something goofy, tell me. I got thick skin, so give me your criticism. Don't intentionally be mean, but tell me what you think, and yeah, like and subscribe. I hope you guys enjoy following along as much as I'm enjoying putting it together. This is kind of my escape, so yeah. As I mentioned, I have a swing bridge. You'll have to excuse the mess in here. As I mentioned, my layout is in a shop that is 13 by 7.5, which doesn't leave me a whole lot of room to work here. I have a bay door at this end. The shop is insulated, but this is the swing bridge. So far, it's been kind of a pain. Everybody I've watched videos on says don't do an angle, the track on an angle. You want to have it straight, and I didn't listen because I didn't want to make the swing bridge too complicated. I ended up making the track more complicated, but it's working out so far. As you can see, this car is not on the rails. Once the bridge is closed, it does make its way across there, no problem, and across here. It's a work in progress. I've got some fine tuning to do down here on this end. I've got the height is good across here. You can run your finger across there and across there, no problem. But you can see there's some misalignment there on the right side of the track. It needs to come in just a hair, but once we get that figured out, I think it'll be okay. This is the river where the bridge is going to go. As you can see, it says bridge. This is going to be a camping area. We've got our lake area here. Back in that disaster is going to be a mountain. As I work, I kind of have to move my stuff around because I don't have a lot of room in here. It makes it a little more difficult, but it's what I've got and what I'm dealing with. So this is the main line that I was talking about earlier. I've started already. As you can see, I've got some weights, paint and whatnot down there, weighting down the track so that it's nice and smooth. This will be the town area, and then we'll run down the main line with a switch here. This will come down into our yard where the turntable, couldn't think what that was called, turntable will be, and then our roundhouse will be at this end. The roundhouse isn't here yet, so once it gets here, I'm going to do a video on that, and you guys can see me put that together and how I build it, paint it, weather it, all that good stuff. But yeah, we've got our turntables up there. Like I said before, it's 110 inch, or sorry, 110 foot. Spit it out, dude. 110 foot round table. I got a couple other kits up there. We're gonna do the wood coaling station and dry house, sanding tower. There's a better look at the engine we're gonna run. Excuse the shadow. Let me see if I can get some more light on this. That's better. There's the, I misspoke earlier. I think I said one, it was an 825, and it's actually 823 Genesis. And then I've got this old Santa Fe. It is a powered A unit and B unit, so we'll be running that one's also DCC. Got a couple of smaller engines up here. These will be coal burners. Those are not DCC yet. I do have plans to make them DCC, at least sound, and then have at least sound in them. So yeah, this is the layout. I've got about 3 feet of walking space in between here. You can see the structure for the bench work is 1x1s, 2x1 bracing. It's on 3/4 inch plywood with 2-inch white foam. I use the white foam because it's a little cheaper than blue foam and pink foam, and it's a lot easier to get. If you like the blue foam and the pink foam, that's cool, and you can afford to buy that stuff, cool. This stuff is about half the price of the pink stuff is, and it works just fine for me. So yeah. Follow along and you can see what becomes of this mess once I get a little more organized and things start to take shape. This is another line that'll come in to the town and eventually turn somewhere. I don't know yet. I don't. So this is the next area that I'm going to be focusing on. As you can see, I've already started this. I've got a mountainside started here that's going to cover that outlet there, which powers my TV, because you have to have a TV in your layout room so you can watch YouTube channels while you build your layout. And I just stuck my finger in front of the film. So what I'm going to focus on is getting this track section here ready to put roadbed on, and then I can focus on getting this mountain covered, and this will be removable. As you can see, I can pick it up and do it. That way I'll still have access to that wall outlet. So we'll get our plaster cloth. I just got a small piece here that I need. That's all I need. And I'll show you my technique for using plaster clothing. I don't typically do plaster cloth the same way most modelers I've seen in the past, the way they do it. They usually get a tub of water, some kind of plastic tub, and fill it with water, then lay this in there and take it out and then drape it over whatever they're plaster clothing. It makes a big mess when you do that. You drip stuff all over the place, and so I've found that this is a little better technique for me. I basically just place it where I think I want it, get it pretty close to where I want, as long as it's covering everything I need it to cover. We don't need it to go all the way down the backside because we got that mountain that's going to be there. So I just take that, lay it where I want it. I'm going to make a little relief cut here so that it folds nice and neat down the backside of this. I don't want to cut all the way to the corner though, because I do want it to cover that corner. So once it's about where I want it, I'm gonna shave just a little of this foam off that hard edge there, just so we don't end up with a right angle underneath our plaster cloth. So you really lay that down, it'll give it more of a soft edge, more of a natural look. So there we go. Now that's kind of a, you can see that soft edge there. A little bit better view of that. So we cut this foam back a little bit so it's not a sharp right angle there. So I just kind of lay this out as smooth as possible, and then I just get a spray bottle and spray it down nice and wet. And I don't drip water all across the layout, and I don't get plaster residue from the from it dripping all over the place. And it lays pretty flat. I don't know, it's the process I use. It works pretty good for me. And then I just kind of smooth this out with my finger, filling in all those holes. And it's really easy. I mean, you just basically finger painting it, and then you can shape it, move it around however you want. I have some T-pins that I'll put in there. If I want to pull a section tight, you can pull it and pin it. It gives you different shapes. But yeah, super simple. Just keep working it until it's all smooth. The backside, don't need to worry about too much because it's going to be covered by a mountain, and nobody's really going to be back there anyways. So we don't need to concern ourselves too much with that. Just a little more water. Smooth it out nice and curvy like. And if you like to dip the plaster cloth in water and lay it down on there, more power to you. That's your process. That's the way you do it. This is the way I do it. No right, no wrong. Whatever works for you is the way you should do it. Whatever you're comfortable with. I mean, it's your layout, it's your diorama, it's your discretion, however you want to do it. And this just seems to be the easiest way for me. That's nice and smooth. And if you don't want it to be smooth, it doesn't have to be smooth. You can make it as smooth or rough as you like. And being that this is the mountainside, you know, I cut away the mountainside to put the railroad here. So we're going to make it a little bit rough. But first, you fill in all these holes. Sometimes you can't get them all. But, you know, that's where the sculpt mold comes in. You can use foliage, you know, ground covers and stuff to cover these holes. You can use some backyard dirt to fill in some of this stuff as well. So, and I just have a random couple pieces of foam in here to simulate, you know, big rocks and whatnot. And so I'll get some T-pins and kind of give this some more shape. You can just kind of grab it with a T-pin and pull it out, stick it in there. You know, again, that, you know, just pulls it away from there and gives it a little more, or you can push it in, and if you wanted like a deep section there where maybe there was a big boulder there that was coming out of the earth or something. Use your imagination, let it run wild. I think I'm going to leave that section down there a little bit so it kind of ends that hole there. Pin that one down so it gives a little bump there, a little ridge. Like I've said, I don't really have a plan. When I do these things, I just kind of let it lay as it is and let it be natural and let it do what it wants to do. And there's this little ridge there, a little ridge here that looks pretty natural. You know, let it form its own form, basically. That's how nature is. I mean, nobody went over and carved the side of a hill. I guess they could have. Let it dry, and then paint it whatever color you want to paint it. Okay, so now we have that all covered with plaster cloth. We can go ahead and do our mountainside, and this is just a bunch of scrap foam that I had laying around. I always keep my scraps. Majority of them, you know, you never know what you're going to need them for. So this is just a bunch of scrap foam that I had laying around. I got my hot glue gun out and just started kind of piecing things together to fit this section, because I wanted to cover this outlet and give this wall some texture. There is going to be what do you call it, backdrop along this wall. Eventually I will paint some landscape on some backdrop and we'll put it back behind here, but it'll be cut to fit this section and it will go all the way around. But for now, we're going to build us a mountain, and to do that we need our initial structure, and then I use more free stuff. This is just packing paper that you get from your Amazon packages or wherever else you do your online shopping, and I just lay it basically on here with a couple of pins, poke it in place, and let it kind of just shape itself, kind of like the sculpt mold and the plaster cloth. We'll just kind of pin it down and let it form its own shape, you know. And You can kind of manipulate it as much as you like, but you just want to, main thing you want to keep in mind is that you want to keep it out of the way of your track coming through. So make sure you have enough room for your locomotives and rail cars to make it through. You kind of just shape this however you want. Pin it as you go along. I just use T-pins, just get the initial shape. And then once you've got your paper shaped the way you want it, take the same plaster cloth we used on the track and drape it over the top and let it harden. It's that simple. And we'll get this pinned down here and get some plaster cloth put on it, and you'll see how it looks. So now this is all wet and kind of shaped the way we want it shaped. It's not the final. Obviously, you could spend more time, get this wet more, and spray water on there and smooth this all out, make it nice like this is here. But this is not the final easy for me to say, finished product, I should say. It's going to get Sculptamold over the top of it, and then we can, once the Sculptamold is dried, we can paint it mountain painted, you know, and then put some foliage on there, some trees, you know, some landscaping, make it look nice. But yeah, this is basically what I was going for. It'll look like a mountain, and I think it'll look nice, and hopefully I will be able to remove it. If this, I've never, like I said, I've never made a removable mountain before, so I overlaid this a little bit just so that when it sits down it matches. If this plaster cloth doesn't want to come away from there when it dries, I can always just trim it back a little bit with a razor blade knife to the point where this will be removable, and then I can take it in and out as I need. It'll be nice and strong. It'll be basically hard as a rock, hard as a mountain. So on to the next.